All right, we are back here talking pop culture on the podcast. Actually, going into the world of game shows this week. Joining me today, our pop culture correspondent, Sam Derosa. Sam, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me again.
Again. I've lost count how many times it is, but I will tell you off air what it is once I figure out the number.
Oh, thank you. You could tag me on Twitter with the amount of times.
Yeah, I will, and I will see.
So then everyone knows.
I'll let everybody know on Twitter when I tag you in this episode. But I will say, though, it's nice to be talking to you again and actually have some sports on.
Right?
Yeah.
So many sports in a good way.
Yeah, because, we went from nothing to basically, trying not to, overgorge yourself with, all the sports options you have right now.
Exactly.
I don't know about you. I haven't actually started watching basketball again. I haven't watched basketball in, say, 2 years. It's definitely interesting.
I know. I've been oddly enough following the WNBA pretty religiously right now, so I'm very excited. Not religiously. That's being a little overdramatic, but I've been watching, games, as much as I can.
Yeah, I felt bad for the Liberty fan. Sabrina Ionescu basically, twisted her ankle at this third game, and, she was on fire in her second.
Yeah, she'll be back. She's a really tough athlete, so I think she'll be back really soon.
Yeah, and as I said before on the podcast, we are keeping pop culture alive because I don't trust COVID. I don't trust the NFL or MLB to successfully finish. So we're keeping this thing going.
Definitely.
Yeah, we are keeping it going. And today we are diving into the world of game shows. And I talked about a game show last week. How about Holy Moly, the ABC game show, Pete Considori. And I will say you were one of our draft picks for some people from the podcast who would be fun to watch on that show.
Oh, solid. I'm glad somebody enjoys my personality.
Yeah, I think Pete said the number one pick on the board from the podcast role had to be John Stanko because watching John, that show would be hysterical.
That would be, I'm just picturing it right now.
Yeah. I could picture John being on there, him getting a little cry-on saying, like something about him being a film critic as his little, bio fact they put on the screen, and then him getting pissed off if he misses a hole or something.
That's all I pictured is him just getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could just hear his voice be like, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah. Yeah, we said he would be good. We said watching Joe D get flustered on the hole some of the holes would be fun. Seeing him, he's very cool. He can get pushed with some of these ridiculous situations he'd be in.
Oh, poor Joe. I feel like he would keep it professional though. I could see it.
He would be. I also said I threw out there. I said, hey, Sam Derosa would be fun on this show as well. I feel like she would have a good time.
Yeah, I'd probably be the handicap, yeah. Me and mini golf kind of deal don't do well. So, but actually I've gotten more holes in one in mini golf than a lot of other people that I know. So you might be sleeping on me there, Pete.
So what is your favorite, what's the most fun mini golf hole you've hole in one?
Actually when I was 5, not even trying, just putted it. And the look on my parents' face was the best thing ever because I didn't really fully understand. You know what I mean? When you're 5, what's a hole in one, right? And I'm you just got a hole in one. I'm yeah, no big deal. And I'm oh, what does that really mean? But then again, it was my first and favorite hole in one. The other ones were just flukes, but those are the best kinds, right?
Yeah, I love when I get the chance to get a hole in one. It doesn't happen too often for me, but I do play a little more conservatively. I do tend to go for try and make sure I get the 2 rather than the 1.
Gotcha. I just hit it and I'm watch this. And then I'll hit it between my legs or something stupid. Hey. Just to make mini golf more exciting than it already is.
Yes, that's true. And I was actually talking about this with the great Alan Austin, who unfortunately did beat us both in the baseball movie draft poll. He beat Stanko out. We finished that tie for 3rd. First of all, that was disappointing.
I think it's just because of a league of their own, but I didn't. This will be better. This week will be better for me. I have a good feeling.
I think it'll be better for both of us because the Costner fans did not
There's
come
only
out.
2 of us.
They didn't come out for me. You
know what? It's all right. It's all right. Maybe if it was a poll on Facebook, you would have gotten a little more positive feedback.
Yeah, Facebook needs to have a poll option. That's disappointing if they don't.
Feedback box. That's what you need to give them.
Yeah, I'll send that their way after this show is over. But I was talking to Alan last week, and he would talk about how, obviously if you watch your scripted shows, you're not getting them for a while. But I do think you're going to see a lot of these game shows come back soon because it's very easy to produce a bunch of them quickly.
That's true, and it's like more easy to keep people socially distant.
Yeah, I think for sure. And like, I mean, ABC has a bunch of summer game shows, and I think honestly, the thing I'm excited about, ABC, if they can film this properly, the Leslie Jones Supermarket Sweep reboot, I am all in for.
Yeah, the only problem is when they all go for it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. But other than that, it's a pretty like individualized game.
As far as the show is concerned, Supermarket Sweep, I think Leslie Jones, I want to see her losing her marbles and somebody's going down the aisles of the big sweep trying to figure out the bonus item or go for the big inflatable thing with the bonus prize. Like, the show is just so ridiculous and so ready for a primetime version. I cannot wait to see what she does.
I know. Hopefully it will be on this year.
I think it will. Mike Hunch is like, Alan pointed this out. He said basically with the game shows, all you really have to do is, get your cast out there, like sequester everybody for a couple of weeks who's going to be on the show. Like, bring them out there, film a bunch in a weekend, and you're done.
That's true. And you can even like bring them out there 2 weeks early, have everyone in quarantine, and then create your own bubble.
Yeah, you can do a little production bubble. And I will say, I'm still working my way through the classic Supermarket Sweep. I get such a kick out of it whenever I watch it.
I literally have not watched it in a couple weeks because that's how severely I'm pacing myself.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to blow through it. Because like I blow through like new seasons of like Netflix shows, everything in matter of days. Like just the Umbrella Academy that came out on the 31st. I went through that in like 2 days. I was so excited.
Yeah, like I've seen a couple episodes. I do enjoy, obviously, number one, I think, what you think of David Ruprecht?
I don't really know him that well,
Yeah, I think...
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all I know is him on the show, and I just think of him as, like, he was a grocer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, hey, you do grocery, like, work when you're not in acting. You know what I mean? Like, one of those things. Like, that's your side job. Like, let's go. Has he really been in anything else besides the host there?
No, not really. But I will say, like, I do think he's funny because, like the way they make him sprint out every single time at the start of the show. Like, it's so hysterical.
He's definitely a grocer. Let's be honest. He's probably a grocer.
I will say, somebody with experience in the grocery store industry, he does dress a lot like a grocery store manager would.
Exactly. And I feel like no person who works in costumes could fully replicate it.
No, it's an experience you have to have on your own. I will say, like, this is one of the shows I love to play just because I feel like my experience, like, in a grocery store gave me a huge leg up at the big sweep.
That's true. I'm always lost in grocery stores, so I feel like I would be the opposite of you in this game.
Yeah. You want a tip on, like, what the strategy, I think, is to win that. And I think Ruprecht agrees with this strategy. I read an interview with him.
Oh, I'm ready. I thought you were going to go right into it. I'm ready.
All right. So here's the scoop. You know how in the big sweep, when everybody tends to veer right for the meat department where they're going for the big hams and they're getting all these like, heavy things. I think that's not the way you go. The way you go is you go down like the cosmetics aisle. You get a bunch of those hair dyes. You get a bunch of like the expensive medicines. You can load up your cart and it's like to push. That's the easiest way to rack up the dollars and have room to add a bunch of stuff.
I would just go for the coffee. I don't even know if this year they would have the like ground up coffee. Like, is that even like a 2020 thing in grocery stores anymore?
They do have the grinders there. It's not as common because most people tend to buy ground coffee already, but they do sell the beans and have grinders if you want to do it.
The last time I saw a coffee grinder, and besides the AMP, is Food Emporium in good old Yorktown Heights.
Yeah, shout out to one of my former employers.
You work for AMP. I was like, wait a minute, you work for Food Emporium? You just blew my mind, but I got confused.
Well, they are in the same family. I did like show up there like a couple of times on a company request.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah, they were under the same corporate umbrella, and one time they had me go over there and just help out a little bit when they needed help. I think like with pricing stuff. Funny
enough, now I think about it, the Food Emporium looked a lot like the AMP.
Yeah, that's besides we're going inside baseball in the grocery store game here, but I will say that's the strategy is you load up on like the medicine and you load up on like stuff like that's light but expensive. That way you can really jack the cart up and really raise the prices.
Well, you might have just given your strategy to a competitor, so just so you're aware.
You don't know, we could be on the same team.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know if like my inability to get like, to follow myself around, get to point A to point B in the grocery store, that would have deterred you for picking me as like a partner in your game show.
Yeah, well, the thing with Supermarket Sweep is, it's a team game, and you have two people on your team. There's also a lot of pop culture stuff in there. I feel like you would be a great help in those categories when we answering the trivia questions and stuff like that.
I just get nervous. Like, I always think about this celebrity likes this product, and I feel like I would know it, but I would be super confident in my wrongness.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, oh, they like their favorite fruit is strawberries, when in reality it's cherries or something.
Yeah.
So nervous. So I'm already nerve-wracked right now.
Yeah. As I say, that's the strategy. Is like, you have a good partner who knows your pop culture, somebody who can run the sweep, and then hopefully you get lucky, you win the big prize. But I want to see how big they go, because the syndicated version, I think, was like $5,000 was the final prize. I think it's got to be at least like $20,000 for a network version.
Oh, you would think. Who knows? Maybe they'll just use 90 prices.
Indeed. And what kind of game shows? I'm going to ask you real quick. What kind of game shows would you like to play on?
I mean, honestly, anything that doesn't involve spelling or math.
So
general knowledge stuff, I got you. Like, running around doing things, I also got you. But I'm going to say it now, because I'm not going to use it unless it's like absolute necessary for later on in the show. There's this British like game show called Countdown, and they have to it's literally all spelling and math and comedy as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's all spelling and making words and math problems. I would do so bad on that show. So anything other than that, I'm good.
That's good to know, because we're actually about to do a fun activity. I'm getting myself in a draft mood, because I do have a draft coming up with Alan Austin this week and some others about the new Big Brother All-Star season, but that's a separate activity. But we're going to do a draft of our favorite of the game shows we want to play on. We're each going to pick 5. Since you are the guest here, and I'm going to be show first, I'll let you go first. What show would you play first?
Sweet. I'm going to just go right in it, and I'm going to be upset with all the followers out there who will not agree with me on this one. But my first game show I would pick is, I'm bringing it back, but Legends of the Hidden Temple. And you got to be kidding me. If you're not a kid who watched that show, who did not want to be on that show, there's something wrong with you. Because that's all I wanted to do as a kid, was be on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's a stellar first pick, because that's one that obviously touches the Nickelodeon kids game show genre. It's got that air of mystique about the show. The challenges are cool, and it's it makes you feel like I would want to do that, and I would love to run that course.
Right? That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
As a kid, was be on the Purple Parrots or the Red Jaguars and be let's go.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think for my first pick, and I think this is a combination of me trying to figure out what would I be good at and what would I have the chance to win the most money at. I think I would go with the $100,000 Pier as my first pick.
Ooh, that's a hard game to play.
It's fun at the same time, because you also, I think you're good at word association. You get paired with celebrities, which is always fun. So you get to meet some famous people if you're on this show. And you get the new version hosted by Michael Strahan, so you get to laugh with him when you're on the show. And
old Michael Strahan.
Yeah, and you get on in the winner circle once. You got a chance at $50,000, twice a chance at $100,000. So you could leave with $150,000 if you hit your clues right.
I feel like every draft that you include me in, I just don't play it like how you think about it.
That's why we're different. You're this is fun, and I'm going analytical.
Yeah, complete different takes on this.
That's why it works. We both have the same style. We're boring.
That's true. All right. I was really afraid you were gonna steal all my picks right off the bat.
So you don't have to worry about that. You get another one. So what's your next show?
My next one is Gun.
Of course, another good one. The regular version or the global version?
Ooh. See, I thought that we would just put that under the umbrella of Gus. You know what I mean?
If you had a choice, I'll give you the whole franchise. Which one do you like better?
Just regular Gus.
Yeah.
I have to go with the regular, or the original, I guess. But has a killer theme song. I don't want to sing it because I don't have perfect pitch. But that was another thing, climbing the aggro crack, hilarious. as a kid and an adult saying it. And then also it's just like really like they just had such cool activities that I would totally do that as an adult even now. Like today if somebody said, hey, we will like fly you out to Florida to film it, because I'm pretty sure they did all their things in Florida. We will pay you nothing. You will have to sign a waiver if you get hurt or injured that like, that you can't sue us. And I still sign up.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. The aggro crag is amazing. And for anybody who has not seen it, just imagine this like ridiculous like mountain that's made of like basically like junk props, and like you have to climb the mountain to get to the top and beat the other two teams there to win the prize. Like that's the final task of the show, and it always looks amazing.
Oh, and it's so cool. And it's like the fog, the styrofoam rocks getting thrown at your head. Yeah. Just pure class.
Yeah. Okay, so Sam's on the board. 2 Nickelodeon game shows in a row. I respect both picks. I'm gonna have a little fun here. I'm gonna stay away from the trivia for now. I'm gonna go with something that has been revived recently on ABC, and I do think it's fun. The concept is ridiculous, but like you can still win a lot of money and prizes. Give me Press Your Luck.
Ooh, that was on my list. That's a good one. That was on my list.
I love that show. I think it's a lot of fun. Elizabeth Banks is a great host for it because she has great comedic timing and like obviously a lot of fun. You're sitting there. You don't have to know too much trivia, but you literally sometimes just press luck of the board. You can get a chance to win like thousands and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes, or you can get wiped out by a single whammy. It's all like literally like playing Russian roulette with the money, which is very, very fun and very addicting. And like the amount of money you can rack up on that board if you're hot is incredible.
Oh yeah, I just like the little whammies.
Yeah, I love
being honest.
Yeah, the cartoons are so funny with all the things they do.
See, like I would watch Press Your Luck, but when I was younger, when it was on Game Show Network, I loved that show growing up. Or that network growing up, and I loved Press Your Luck because of the really bad '90s animation. Yeah,
I think it's definitely been more fun with the Elizabeth Banks update is fun. I do recommend that to you.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Like we'll have that on Sunday nights at work, so we watch it.
Yeah, so you are familiar.
Oh, definitely.
All right, where are you going with game show number 3?
All right, so I was gonna go with this certain one, but then I'm switching it to a later one. I'm gonna go with Match Game.
Ooh, I like that one.
I've always this show, like I said, with Richard, whatever his name was. I know my mom's gonna kill me when she hears me that I don't remember. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor.
I think that's right.
Yeah, he was the creepiest host ever, but I thought he was like so funny when I was like 5 years old. But even now with Alec Baldwin, who I'm always on the fence with if I like him, but I always love the cast that they picked for Match Game this time around. It's always people that I love, so it's extra funny and stuff. Also, when they have James Van Der Beek on there, I think that's always funny, just because he's not always inherently funny, but just him being him is funny.
Yeah, for those
very specific, but other than that, just like that's me.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar with Match Game, the idea is basically you're one of 2 contestants on the show. You have a panel of 6 celebrities who are basically getting hammered throughout the show, and you have get asked these questions to try and make a match with them. And basically the goal of the question is to make you say the dirtiest things possible on network television.
Yeah, I think that's pretty funny, and I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoy it too, especially watching the modern version and how like they clearly want a certain dirty answer, and then these people who like they pull from like random walks of life are giving the most like clean PC answers, and then Alec Baldwin always goes like, "Yeah, that's a horrible answer," and then just goes to the panel and lets the panel rip them apart for it.
Oh yeah, too funny. I think it's just like a really cool concept.
I think it's a great concept. It was on my list. Not like I think maybe a pick or 2 from now I would have gone there, but my next one I'm gonna go to the classic. I think in terms of game show, if you want to do something like this, I think you have to have The Price is Right on the list.
Oh, I've never liked that game.
Why?
Nothing against Bob Barker or Drew Carey now. I just never got the price correct, and I hated it. I also did not like the giant spinny wheel or Plinko. I was just like, I could live without. So I'm so sorry. I feel like everyone loves The Price is Right except for me.
Yeah, well, for me, it's an American institution. Also, can I give it a shout out to the great How I Met Your Mother episode when Barney Stinson goes on the show.
That's the most I've liked of the show, when it was on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, so everybody knows The Price is Right. If you're on it, you might get your pricing knowledge, get on the big stage, try and win the big prizes, get to the showcase showdown, spin the wheel, all the classic stuff. How I Met Your Mother is a great parody of it. So if you don't want to watch a full episode of the show, you can watch the How I Met Your Mother episode when Barney Stinson is on it. They do a pretty good quick run through of the show.
Oh yeah, and it's just like so funny. It's like, did you win? And then he pulls out the gifts. He's like, yeah. It's so funny. That's like the best. That's actually one of my favorite episodes of How I Met Your Mother, ironically, or being a hypocrite. But whichever word you want to choose for me.
All right, we'll put that in the vault here. Maybe a future pop culture install will be the Where Did How I Met Your Mother Go Wrong thought discussion.
Ooh, that'd be good. I have a lot to say on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, we'll do that in the future. We'll do that in the fall. That'll be maybe November sweeps. We'll do How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're up. You have 2 more picks. Where are you going with your next one?
All right. I'm just worried that it's going to be taken. I'm going to go with Cash Cab.
Cash Cab?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I've never heard of that show.
What?
I have not.
No way. No, Cash Cab is so good. I think it was, okay, it might have been on Discovery Channel, but it's like, okay, so you're in New York City. I can't remember the host's name. I'm horrible with names, but he's this like bald guy. And he like drives a New York City cab, quote unquote. And then these people get in and they're like, the lights go off. It's like, you're on Cash Cab. And they're like, oh my God, because they're New Yorkers. And they're like, what the heck, or whatever. But yeah, honestly, scripted that part, but whatever. And then like they give them a destination and it's like so many blocks, you get so many questions. And if you like get the like 3 wrong or 2 wrong, you're like kicked out. But if you get all the way there, you just get like cash money. He hands you cash and you get out of the cab. And it's like all these different, it's kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like you can like phone a friend or like ask a guy in the street. So like I love that aspect. I also just love general like knowledge questions.
Oh, that's interesting. I may need to go YouTube an episode of that and see what that's like.
Oh, definitely. It's really funny. Well, it's not super funny. It's just like these like questions and it's like these really simple ones. But when you're put on the spot, you're like, it's like, who wrote Macbeth? And you're like, like, it's just like, it's just great. I love it. I just like human, like, you know, everyone you put under pressure, how people react.
I agree with that. That sounds like a fun concept. My next one I'm going to go to is I'm going to go to the show we were just talking about. Give me Supermarket Sweep. I would love to do it. I think I actually could have a shot to win that show. The key would be finding the right partner for that show. Like, I do think I could get you or Stanko on my team to have a good shot.
I definitely would do Stanko for the like humor. Yeah. Because I could just see him being really funny on that show.
Yeah, I think like in terms of like skill set, I do think like you guys both offer like the trivia portion. I think I could run the sweep. I could really kill the sweep. I do feel good about my chances on that.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, no, definitely. I would probably hurt you a little bit in the running, but other than that, I get winded really easily. But other than that, I think I could pull you on the trivia.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I said, you know, like if you did the help you with the trivia, I ran the sweep. I think we make a good team.
I agree. We'll see if Leslie Jones is interested in us.
Yeah, we'll set the tape in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll send her the podcast. Be like, hey, yo, Leslie, help us out.
Yeah, we'll see if she helps us out. And your last pick is up. Where are you going for your final game show?
All right, I'm doing this for the people at home, as in my home. I'm going to go with Family Feud.
Oh, that's a favorite.
Because honestly, that's been like a show that my whole entire family has watched. And we even owned for a while the Family Feud PC game, which was also a lot of fun. But it's something that my mom and I like just watch, like, you know, like when it's late at night, it's like there's nothing on, we turn on, and there's always Family Feud, like somewhere on TV. So it's always good, like with Steve Harvey and like the families. I'm not gonna include the Family Feud celebrity one because, like, I'm just like, I don't really care about celebrity families. But I love to see like the American Weird Family on TV. Yeah. Like everyone's strange on that show. Not being mean, it's just everyone on there is just a little strange.
Yeah, I also love the point of that show where they come up with it's sort of similar to the Mask Game where they try to get people to say the dirtiest things on television, and the host, in this case Steve Harvey, just has to act horrified when people suggest dirty things on the TV.
I love when he's actually offended by some of the things that they say, because like he's not even acting. He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, and then when he's like, "That's not even an answer," and it is an answer, and then he like looks like he's just gonna walk out. Like, I just love that. He probably low key doesn't like hosting this anymore, but it's a great paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's always like this, like, you know, thin line for him.
Yeah,
I always read too much into game shows, but that's just me.
The celebrity version, I will say that it's fun because they do take shots at Steve Harvey with some of the questions. I do think it's funny when they ask like what do women like about Steve Harvey? That's their number one feature for Steve Harvey, and then they just get people giving answers. He looks like flummoxed whenever they say something's bad about him.
Oh my god, that poor dude. He didn't.
I will say,
Steve.
It can go off the rails, and I do think it'd be fun to put together the Just End the Suffering Family Feud team.
That'd be fun.
I think honestly, like our four pop culture will be 4 of the 5. I need to figure out who the 5th one is.
Well,
I think
we'd have to really think about that. We'd have to come together and decide who our like 5th wheel is going to be.
I think by default we have to be Will Schneiderhan because he's on it the most of anybody else on the show.
That's true.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be the 5 of us will be a fun Family Feud team, especially like we put Stanko in the prime like the 3 spot where he's basically like getting key answers to every question.
Yeah, and then you'll have me like getting them all wrong. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Like, hopefully, I haven't been on the show, so I don't truly know. But I feel like I'd be really good in the speed round if we made it that far.
Yeah. I think we could. I think that we could do good on Fast Money if we got there.
Yeah. Well, shoddy a spot in the Fast Money. Just saying.
If our team gets there, you have a spot in Fast Money.
Sweet, because I shoddied it, and no one sees the nose goes, but my finger's on my nose.
All right. So Sam is shy of the Fast Money spot on the Just End the Suffering Family Feud team. I'm going to my last pick. I got a couple options I could consider here, which I think would be interesting. Feud was on my list, so I got to dive a little bit down and get something new. As we are recording, it's literally starting to pour out here, so that's going to be fun. And I think I'm trying to decide if I want to take Holy Moly or if I want to go in a different direction. That's really my dilemma at this point. But
go with the sleeper show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what my sleeper show would be, because I don't want to do Jeopardy because I would not win because I'm not smart enough to outbeat some of these people.
That's so funny. That was on my list too, and I was like, I'm not smart enough for this show either.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune's too basic. I'm trying to think like what would be my good 5th show. You know what? I'm gonna go back to my childhood for my 5th one. Actually, I'm gonna go with Where in the World. I hope
it's the one I'm thinking of.
Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Ooh.
Just because that show was such a riot as a kid. I just remember as a kid I wanted to play that so bad, and just knowing I feel like I've got a good handle on geography, so I think I'll be able to do well on the show. And I love the cartoon aspect of trying to catch Carmen Sandiego, stop the robbery with all of her sidekicks and all that.
Yeah, no, I'm actually surprised. See, this is why you go with the sleeper show. This is a good one. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because I was like sitting there, I'm like, what do I want to do? Because like I think this would be fun to play, and I do think like if they had the adult version of it, I do think I could kill on that.
See, like my sleeper one was like I really went back and forth, but I didn't want to be too like childhood heavy on my picks. I didn't want to box myself in. But mine was going to be Double Dare.
Yeah, Double Dare is another good one.
Like, I would love to crawl through a nose full of slime.
Yeah, so to recap the draft here, Sam's 5 game shows she want to play: Legends of the Hidden Temple, Guts, Match Game, Cash Cab, and Family Feud. Mine are Pyramid, Press Your Luck, The Price is Right, Supermarket Sweep, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. After the show goes up on the podcast stream, we're going to put this poll on Twitter, see who has the more popular list of game shows. We will see who wins the poll, and I'm hoping the Price is Right audience comes through for me here, unlike the Costner audience in the last draft.
I severely boxed myself away from the Price is Right, and I feel like that's all of America.
Yeah.
What have I done? Week 2. Like, the second time I've done this, but it's okay. I'm sticking to my guns.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have some good ones on there. Match Game has some love. Family Feud's very big. That was a good last pick for you.
Yeah, I'm also on Double Dare. See, I'm glad Glad I didn't listen to myself.
You didn't triple down the Nickelodeon game shows.
No, but I had to throw that out there as an honorable mention because I thought that was such a fun show.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued by Jeopardy too, because I've done the Jeopardy online quiz to see if I can get cash for the show. But one thing I realized about that is that I will say is I do not my demo is very, very competitive for Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm. I had he was a high school English teacher who I had for 2 years, and he despised Jeopardy because he was picked and then he went for the first round for to go in front of people, and they didn't pick him, and he's has such a vendetta against that show that we weren't even allowed to talk about Jeopardy or even mention the word Jeopardy, even in the word danger, how that's another word for danger. He was very dead set about that.
That's a good Jeopardy story.
That's all I think about for Jeopardy is Mr. Broomhead in the 9th grade English.
Shout out to Mr. Broomhead if he's listening to this.
Oh, yeah, no. Funny enough, his name is Broomhead.
Broomhead.
A broom handle, but a broom head.
Oh, so shout out to Mr. Broomhead if you're listening to this.
Damn, hopefully he never hears this. This would be so embarrassing.
I think there's a better chance Rob Manfred's listening to me complain about him than Mr. Broomhead finds this.
All right, Broomhead is a sneaky guy. Do you know the show Teen Mom?
Yes.
He would talk about that show all the time, and there's this guy on there named Gary. This is, now I'm gonna date myself, but this was back in 2008, I believe, or 2008, 2009, where he's I would love to have Gary on my team for when it's the apocalypse. This guy was just he's an interesting fellow. I have a million Broomhead stories, which I will not share because nobody knows who I'm talking about, but that's just some guy who hates Jeopardy, and I think that's so strange. How do you hate Jeopardy?
Well, maybe off air sometime you can tell me some of these stories.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I will say I did think about doing Amazing Race my last pick. I'm you know what, that's not a game show. It's more of a reality show.
Yeah, there's this Telemundo game show, which I didn't want to pick because I don't think I was going to say it right, but I also think it's kind of an Amazing Race, just an action show kind of deal like that.
Yeah, I do. That's another one that's on my bucket list. I would love to apply for Amazing Race. I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun, except if you go to a weird place and they make you eat bugs.
Yeah, well, that's always a possibility.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Sam, before I let you go, as always, at the end of pop culture here, what have you been streaming of late, and what's some stuff you're looking forward to coming up that you want to get to?
Well, spoiler alert, because I mentioned it earlier, but the Umbrella Academy Season 2 is super good. Been watching that. I'm not going to lie, I restarted watching The Office, which I've seen probably 2 times through. But for those people out there who, like my brother, who don't give The Office the time of day, definitely give The Office the time of day, because this is quarantine, and what else do you have to do?
Well, now you can watch sports, but I will say check The Office out.
Well, they're not on 24/7 sports, so the 21, for those 4 hours or 3 hours when sports aren't on, watch The Office. Yeah,
that's true. You can watch it in the morning before the sports comes on.
Exactly, with your cereal or oatmeal.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Did you see I'll Be Gone in the Dark on HBO?
No, but how is it?
It's phenomenal.
All right, well, I'll have to watch that now. And
yeah, it's a
after The Office.
Yeah, it's a documentary about how a true crime writer basically was writing a book investigating a serial killer from the 70s and 80s in California, and then the book actually helped lead to a breakthrough in the case, and they actually arrested the guy 50.
Ooh.
That show was really, really well done. And that's good. I want to check out the visual album Black is King that Beyonce released on Disney Plus. I do want to check that out.
Yep, I forgot about that.
That's on my list, and I'm going through right now. I'm going through the Mandalorian docuseries. Get myself in.
I'm saving that for a rainy day, which may end up being tomorrow, but
it's ahead of season, because season 2 is coming soon, which we're definitely going to cover on the podcast in the fall. But I wanted to sort of go back and remember some of the things that made the Mandalorian season 1 great. So I'm watching the behind the scenes thing right now.
That's awesome. I'll probably watch the behind the scenes and then rewatch season 1 because I feel like I didn't get the full package the first time.
Yeah.
And I also, a fun fact for all those listeners out there, I spent $5. Now, I I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but they were 25-cent cranes. And I tried to win myself a Baby Yoda, and I spent a full $5 trying to win a Baby Yoda, and I didn't succeed.
Yeah, Baby Yoda is a hot merchandise item right now.
And it was a really good version of a Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I need it. And then I went to the guy, and I said, like, I'll give you, like, $20. And then he goes, you have to offer more than that because people offer me $100, and I still don't give it to them.
Yeah.
And then I got really upset, and I walked away.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, well, that is unfortunate. And one thing that's good about The Mandalorian, season 2 is completely in the can. They filmed it last year, so we do not have to wait for it. We will actually get the full thing on time.
That's great. I did not know that.
Yes, they got some secret. They filmed that basically in secret while season 1 was still airing. They were filming season 2, so they basically knew they were going to be a hit.
They're so good with secrets.
Yeah, Star Wars very secretive, very good about it. And I want to thank you for coming on. How can people follow you on Twitter if they want to keep up with you?
Well, I post a lot of sports things right now, but at SDROS5. But you can also find me on Instagram at SDerosa175. I never promote myself on Instagram, and I think I take lovely pictures.
I do think they are lovely pictures. I do follow Sam on Instagram. They are lovely pictures.
Thank you. Just let me know you heard me in the podcast, and I will accept your request.